Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk all things reality TV or whatever. Okay, so I'm your host Pharaoh. I'm joined by a wonderful, wonderful co-host Lily. Hiya.
We're doing good. We're doing good because Taylor is still in the game, and
Hey!
it looks like she will still be in the game.
Oh no, friend. The bitches thought. Y'all thought my girl was out.
Y'all thought Taylor was out. I know you white racist is mad. Yeah. I know y'all mad. Because we still winning.
Child.
Bitches is mad. I'm so excited. Taylor is still in the game. Paloma is out. About to go keep out.
Out of that. Oh, purr. As you see, we are going to be talking to you about the live feeds that occurred for week 2 in the Big Brother 24 house. And then we will also be rating the players in the Big Brother 24 house or whatever. Purr. So we can hop right into this whole purr. I know that's right. Ben Jasmine. As you see, we still got the queen on top.
As she should be, mother.
As she will always be, when she, especially when she wins this game. Anyways, so we're going to tell you guys about the stay in the house. And by we, I mean Lee. What's going on? What's going on, Lee?
So basically, Miss Jasmine, she wins HOH at the beginning of the week, and she initially decides, hey, we talking to Taylor. Now, as we all remember, week 1,
and by
Jasmine,
she meant she. Because nobody else.
No one else worried about that shit. Because as you remember last week, there was, Paloma, she had created her Girls Alliance, and then she had created the Mamba Alliance. So all we know in that space of when Paloma left the game until now is that they still don't like Taylor. So she realizes that, she wants to target Taylor. But we get into the house, and for some reason, Pooch feels like he has to step into the game this week. I'm not really sure what's going on. He did mention preseason that he wanted to be a player that made big moves and played to America. I guess that's what this is. So Pooch decided that he needed to go on the block as the savior, the soldier of the house, the man of the house, next to Brittany. Mm-hmm. And we backdoor Taylor, get her out of here. Literally, Jasmine been HOH for an hour. He didn't went around to the whole house and told them, this is the plan. I'm going to Lester Brittany. We're backdooring Taylor. Purr. So before he even has this conversation with the HOH, he has told everyone else. And people like Amira, people like Nicole, caught wind of this, and they're basically like, well, if he wants to put himself up, then he can
put himself out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And the update on that is, okay, essentially, as we all know, Paloma did leave the game. So Nicole, as the idea of Monty, has been brought into the Mamba Alliance. So it is now Alyssa, Nicole, Amira, Monty, Michael, Kyle. That's the new 6. So when Pooch is offering himself up, Nicole and Amira, who have gotten a closer bond as she's been added in, they're like, well, I mean, if he wants to go up, then he can go home. So essentially, they plan a plan with Jasmine and the rest of the girls, Brittany and India, kind of all in on this. And the plan is basically, we're going to allow him to go up next to Taylor. And then if none for the same, they get our Pooch.
Period. Now, keep in mind, at this point in the game, the alliances stand, like Lee just said, Nicole got added into Mamba, which is now called Paloma's Posse. Paloma's Posse. Paloma's Posse is now Nicole plus everybody else who was already in it that Lee just named. Nicole done already told Daniel about Paloma's Posse. Nicole said, I don't fuck with Paloma's Posse. So me and you, Daniel, we need to figure something else out. So Nicole and Daniel have thought that they could bring in Amira into this. And so they created this new alliance that is not named with Nicole, Daniel, Amira, Jasmine, and Alyssa. Yes, it's a 5-person alliance, unnamed, that they are trying to create, and Nicole's basically trying to make that more so the main alliance than Mamba, because she's trying to destroy Mamba. And girl, is she doing some work? She might be, because
she might be.
Girl. So, as you know, Paloma, she's just such a bad bitch. Her name's always in this. So Pooch, hold on, what did I just say? Fuck that hoe. Pooch and Taylor are nominated. When Pooch and Taylor get nominated, the idea is that the veto is not going to get used. So Michael wins the veto. He doesn't use it. Final nominees are Pooch and Taylor. Amira and her posse, the girls, are definitely getting out Pooch. And because Amira and some of the girls are in this Mamba alliance with Kyle and Monty, two people who have been working with Pooch in some manner, there is now a discussion that is being brought upon the house about Pooch going home. And this discussion is coming from Kyle and Monty. Mm-hmm. Mostly Monty. Mostly Coons.
Because essentially, to set up kind of the girl side, you know, the people who are heading this the Pooch eviction is Amira, Nicole, and they're essentially using Jasmine's HOH. And Alyssa is also in that core. They're roping in Brittany and Indy for the votes. They have Michael on their side. They have Daniel through Nicole. They have Terrence through Nicole. So they have the numbers in the situation. And the guys, they're looking at it as, well, they have the Oasis. The Oasis was formed last because we all remember. The Oasis is Pooch, Turner, Joseph, Monty, Kyle, and Dale is supposed to be in it as a 6. However, they have not met since this has been quotations formed. And the new plan this week is to bring in Terrence. So essentially, Kyle and Monty are not all the way with this Pooch target because they feel like, well, Pooch is on their side. Like, even when they were told about it, because they're in Mamba, they have access to the information from the girls that they're claiming now they're not working with. I don't know why. We're going to get into it. So they knew this whole entire time, Kyle and Monty, that Pooch was the target, way before Michael even won veto. However, as the reality that Pooch was going to stay over Taylor, Monty specifically got really upset because he doesn't like Taylor or black women, let's be honest. So he wants her out of the game. So the fact, and he feels like if Taylor stays in the game, she will come for him, which she will, which she has every right to do because you screwed her game. And he has done nothing to try to improve that. So he wants Taylor out. And Kyle is also kind of feeling this because he also feels like, well, the girls have been in the HOH all week. They have been plotting on Pooch this entire week. Pooch is a number for us because, as you remember, Kyle has a final 2 with Pooch. And he's also in Oasis. So Kyle and Monty just feel like Pooch going is not necessarily good for their game. So they have been trying to enact, their different strategies to try to get him to stay this week, which is pissing a lot of people off.
And this kind of sparked from a series of events. Taylor tells Nicole that she's targeting Monty and the Bulk. Mm-hmm. Nicole tells Amira. Snake Mira tells Kunti. So now Kunti is aware that Taylor specifically says she will target him. Mm-hmm. This is what's really, really sparked because, as Lee said, they already knew Pooch was the target, but when he got this information, him and Kyle started shaking in their coon boots.
Yep.
Kyle, not a coon. But Kunti started shaking in his coon boots. And so we get a scene in the storage room where it's Kunti, who is kind of the leader of this guy's side of the world in a sense because he's in Mamba and because he's so him. So we have him, and then on the other side we have Nicole, who has got into this alliance, and she has just been all up in it. Nicole became a main member of this alliance after getting added 2 days ago. So main head honcho Nicole and Queen Mira are talking to Kunti. And basically, they're talking about how Kunti is suggesting that maybe we should take out Taylor instead. And basically, Nicole was like, and Amira was like,
we're not doing that.
We're
not doing that. We're not doing that. And then basically, and this is kind of why, let's be honest, this is why Monty is upset. Because Monty feels like he is a man. He feels like he is an alpha, some would say. Like, he wants the information to be run through him. He wants to be the one calling the shots. And here he has Officer Nicole and Amira telling him, look, we don't care if Taylor's targeting you. Pooch is targeting us. Therefore, he's going. And we have the numbers. And that's the thing. Amira gagged him up right there because she was like, I mean, if you feel like you can flip the votes, I mean, by all means. I mean, you won't. I mean, you definitely won't. But if you feel like you can, I challenge you. I challenge you, basically. And he was like, well, no, it's not like that. It's just, I just feel like, what is the reason? I don't understand. What is the Shut the fuck up, Monty. Pooch is going home. Get over it. Which is basically what they told him.
I just want to say, any positivity that might slide near Amira or slide near Nicole is purely because Taylor is staying. Yeah. And they're helping my girls stay. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Fuck the girls. It's all the girls.
The reason why Taylor's at the top, because she will always be mother.
The reason why Taylor's at the top and the business is at the bottom. So I just wanted to clear that up because it was getting a little too. I want y'all to be sure of where we stand. Anyways, so we get all of that occurs, and it's just a lot that's going on because basically all of that leads to a kind of breakaway. After that conversation, mind you, Kyle kind of comes in during that conversation. He kind of puts his 2 cents in, but he's very passive. So after that combo with the big four of the alliance, basically, Amira immediately goes to work, secures her votes. The votes are locked, Buki. The votes have already been locked, but now the votes are locked because Amira really made it like clear, like Pooch is going and we're locked in. So they have the votes. Monty is trying to convince other people. The boys, like Terrence, like Daniel, to flip back. Kyle is also trying to do this, but while he's doing this, Kyle is also trying to make other relationships.
Ensuring a path forward. Like, Kyle kind of senses that this is not going his way, so he's definitely coming up with backup plans. At this point, he's also voting to evict Pooch because he feels like if Taylor wins and I'm one of the people who evicted her, I can go up. You know what I mean? At this point, like the whole state of the house, that's the thing. You can call it a gender divide, but really it's insecure men that are upset because they don't have any power this 1 week. I think men are used to watching this show and seeing men consistently in power and consistently running the shots. And that's what I really love about the women this season, other than most of them being terrible people. Like, the women this season are definitely playing this game and they're dominating this game. They use this HOH to the utmost of their advantage and they're taking the game by its balls. And the men are mad about it. Because that's the thing. The boys are running around all week talking about the girls are in the HOH. They're coming up with these plans. They're trying to get out Pooch. Whole time, Daniel, Terrence, and Michael have been up there as well in these conversations. They also know the plan. But y'all are so, I don't know, blinded by toxic masculinity. You can't see that. You see Michael in a room full of girls and say the girls are talking. Michael is a boy. Last time I checked, and he's a vote that you could have had if y'all weren't playing in that man's face. So at this point, it's literally a huge conglomerate of all the girls in the house with Daniel, Michael, and Terrence voting to evict Pooch, and likely Kyle as well. And then you have Kunti with Turner and Joseph trying to rally troops. However, the troops have been rallied by Amira already. So that's the vote is locked. Point blank, period.
So at this point, going into next week, it's seeming like Monty is trying to it's seeming like Monty, he's the main point of the future of the season. Because it seems like he's trying to get the boys to all come together. He's very scared of the girls. So he's trying to have this meeting of all of the boys, minus Michael, to try to really rekindle the fact that they all need to work together. That's going to be what he's attempting. We know what Nicole and Amira are kind of doing with their new alliance that we mentioned earlier. And the girls still have that girls alliance, the girls, and they're trying to use Taylor as a weapon.
Yeah.
Now, Kyle is interesting because Kyle is in Mamba and because Kyle is embedded in this boys thing, he knows all of this information just like Monty. Monty and Kyle are kind of in similar boats because they're both with the boys, but they're both in Mamba, so they are privy to everything that's going on. Monty's decision was to try to rally the boys. Kyle is in on that, but he also is now being invited / forming this middle type group that they're trying to create with Michael and Brittany.
It's giving very much Josh, Helena, Kevin, BB Canton. Really cute, really cute. I don't think it's gonna last at all because Kyle has so many other options and Brittany is cracked, which I really want to get into on her ranking because she has a lot going on. And I think another interesting thing to note that's important that's happening because Nicole and Daniel still have their final two. What is it? Rat roaches? What the fuck? Rags to riches. Okay. They're together, and essentially, since Nicole was brought into the Mamba, which is renamed to Pose Pack, I don't know if we mentioned that. It's not relevant. I'm gonna call it Mamba for the rest of the season. Paloma Posse. Paloma Per. She has told Daniel all about this, and they are heavily now wanting to target Monty and Kyle so that they can just essentially bring Daniel into this or create a new structure, which is kind of what they wanted to do with Jasmine and Alyssa, but it hasn't been named. And that's mainly because Daniel and Nicole are very passive when it comes to wanting to actually solidify structures.
So you see how it's kind of like all over the place. In general, it's kind of girls versus boys with some of the boys on the girl side, but there's also a lot of shit going on in between all of that. And it's only week 2. So we'll get into a lot of other details during the actual player rating.
Like, they're literally talking hella game right now.
I was just gonna say, like, Jesus.
But, like, basically, that's what it is. Like, it's all the girls with Daniel, Terrence, Michael. That's really all you gotta know. And going into the next HOH, it's weird because some of the girls, like Amira and Nicole, who are kind of heading this ship, they've mentioned still putting up Taylor. At this point, I mean, they have the numbers to not evict her, but that's something to note. And then you have Monty and Kyle, who are in Paloma's posse. They are talking about nominating Nicole and Amira. Now, I genuinely don't think they have the balls to do that. I think they could backdoor Nicole because she just got brought into the Alliance, and they have not really talked to the Alliance since she got brought in. All of this shit is happening, so it'll be real easy to just backdoor Nicole real nasty, but I don't think they put up Amira. I mean, because while we were recording this, Monty had a heart-to-heart with Amira, kind of like, I mean, what's going on? You know, I don't think he's putting up Amira. But Nicole, I think she's a little bit more dangerous. So, I don't know. Like, but you know, one thing y'all didn't hear is Taylor's name. Because who the fuck she's safe! The girl that's the thing. So if the boys win, Taylor may not go up at all. If the girls win, Taylor may go up, but they have the votes to keep her. So if you're here for Taylor and Taylor only, it looks really good.
We are too. Okay. Now, let's get into these player ratings. True. Oh, God. Okay. On the top, we have week 1. This is what we rated them week 1. Amira was at the head honcho of it all. We gave her the highest rating with a 7.25 average. We gave Joseph a 1, and he was at the very bottom of it. Everybody else was in the middle. If you want to know what that rating was, y'all better go back to the last video. If you're listening, if you're watching, you can clearly see it. Good luck. Now, week 2, we are going to get into these players. This is where we're going to get into a little bit more detail about their specific game, what's specifically going on. So there's still a lot of information to come because we honestly did not cover all of the information, even within that minute. Yeah. So let's just get into it. Lee, actually, I'm going to start with Alyssa because you can drag her a little bit out. So with Alyssa, last week, I did give Alyssa a 6.5. A lot of this was because of Paloma. Oh, I need to gray out. A lot of this was because of Paloma's influence. I felt like Paloma being so connected to her, well, Alyssa being connected to Paloma, really gave her a really leg up in the game. And Paloma's not here no more, Bookie. So since Paloma's not here no more, it really brought her down for me. So I'm just going to give her a 5. She's still in the majority alliance. If they do create a new one, the Nicole one, she's in that too. If that does solidify and become the new majority, she's in that too. She's also on the girl side, and the girl side has the numbers. So Alyssa is still very much so embedded, and she's one
Mm-hmm.
of the most embedded people who's the least targeted, which is why I still like her position in the game. She's she has the positioning, she just does not have the gameplay like that
Mm-hmm.
because she gets in the game conversation and she gets invited into the alliances, but other than that, it's like there's not even much I can say. She likes Kyle.
Yeah. I
That's
think
it.
I think Alyssa, like, for me, it's the same as like last week. Last week I mentioned like I kind of see her as Paloma's follower. Now I don't think she's really anyone's follower, but it's kind of like she's just floating around. I mean, like the real serious game conversations that Nicole and the Mirror are having, that Jasmine's in sometimes, she's not really in that at all. Like I've noticed a lot on feeds that sometimes like they may not even continue talking when she walks in the room. Like she's not always kind of in those really important conversations, and I think that may help her because, as we mentioned, people like Nicole, Amira, Jasmine, these people are now becoming targets. These people are being named as people they want to go, they want to nominate. Some of the guys. The thing is, Alyssa's not on that. But my thing with Alyssa is that where does she fall when as the game progresses? Is she going to have any respect towards the end? I'm just at this moment, I'm not seeing a lot of necessarily win equity from her because there's not a lot of, I feel like, necessarily agencies. Like she's in a great position, but like I mentioned, she's not doing a lot with the connections outside of that. You know, Amira and Jasmine are closer than she is to either one of them, and then Amira is closer to Nicole than she is. She has a relationship with Kyle, but we just mentioned Kyle has the guys thing. He has a separate thing with Michael and Brittany. Like Kyle has a lot of other options. He does not necessarily need Alyssa. And some of the gameplay this week was just kind of questionable. Like there was a night where all the girls got drunk. Some terrible things, other things happened that we have to mention sadly later on. But in that, she literally basically gave her whole game away to Kyle. Now, Kyle isn't someone who is out to get her, but it's like, why would you kind of give all that information? She essentially told him that the girls are working together. They want to go to HOH to Taylor, and so Taylor can get out a big guy. That's what got Kyle more on the let's keep Pooch train, which put an obstacle in their way. I guess it's not a big obstacle because, you know, Amira been had the shit on lock, no shade. But it's just like, Alyssa, it's like, girl, I don't know. It's like, she's in a good position, but it's like she's not doing nothing with it. It's going to be a 5 for me as well because at this point she is still someone that's probably going to get far based on the connections she has. I think that's one thing about her. I guess she does have really good social connections, but I think that's mainly because she's not doing much. I think a lot of the people who are being disliked are the people who's playing the game, and that's almost everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. So that's a 5 from both of us. Her average is a 5, and it's given a 5. How do you feel about Amira?
I really like Amira's gameplay. What was really interesting about Amira's game is that, you know, she is like, you can tell that she thinks out what she wants to do and then she really executes it. You know what I mean? Like she could have easily targeted Taylor this week. She could have easily targeted Brittany because she just heard the tea that Brittany ratted her out, which she is 100% no she did. But she's like, I'm not going to do that. We need to make the smartest move for us to excel further in the game, and that is to get out Pooch. And she completely spearheaded this plan with the help of Nicole. But Amira been playing this since week 1. She wanted one of the big guys out since week 1, and she is really dominating it. I really love her gameplay because it's rare when we get such a strategic, dominant woman. I mean, we had the last season with Tiffany as well, so it's like, I don't know, maybe this is the new trend with the BIPOC season. I'm living for it because it's like she has just a really strong just sense of what's going on. A lot of people are still fact checking with her. I think she did get in a little bit of trouble this week because she is seen as the leader of that side. So people like Joseph and Monty and Kyle are speaking of her negatively. However, I genuinely feel like she has put in enough work and has enough social connections in this house that even if nominated, which I don't think she will be, she will not go home. However, I feel like I can't deny that she is in a little bit of trouble, and it's not to any, she kind of did it to herself a little bit. She definitely kind of caused it. She's the person who directly told Monty that Taylor is targeting him, which caused him to definitely want Taylor out. And she's like, well, I don't care that she said that. We're not going to get him out. She's kind of the main one who's like, just essentially cutting off Pooch and Joseph after been talking to them like every day prior to. She's basically being very straight up in how she feels moving forward. And people like Monty and Pooch, who I think are just not used to being around strong women, are intimidated by it, point blank, period. I love that Amira does not give a fuck. I feel like, I just think, would it be rude to bring her down? It's just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think she could easily be nominated next week because of some of the action she did this week. So I think I'm gonna give her a 6. I think I'm gonna give her a 6 because I just feel like she was last week. I felt more confident about her position. I don't feel as confident about her position this week because, like I said, because of some of her obvious actions, people are now pinpointing her as the leader, one of the strongest women, someone who is grouping these people together and spreading some of these lies. And I don't think Monty and Kyle will have the balls to put her up, but with them Josie in return to win. I think Nicole is a target ahead of her, but her going up really would knock her down a few pegs, I feel, like strategically. Your social capital goes down when you get nominated. And I just feel like that's very possible to happen in the near future now because of some of the actions this week.
Yeah, honestly, I see what you're saying because that's true about her possibly going to be nominated. They're very aware of the fact that the main girls are Amira, Jasmine, Nicole, and Alyssa. They're very aware that those are the ones that are in the center of that side, and that's how they feel. And they feel like all the other girls are on the outside, and the boys aren't in it. So she's one of those four, and she's probably the most, the most targeted of the four because she's clearly the one running it. So I do think that is an issue. However, the fact that she ran Jasmine's HOH so dirty and nasty like this, it really just brings me up on her strategically. She clearly is able to run an HOH. She's also able to gather troops to literally all vote out Pooch, and it never even it never wavered. Monty has been working hard. I've never seen someone work this hard to flip a vote in Big Brother history. That's not a nominee, and it ain't wavered once, Pookie. And I feel like that's because of the work Amira put in. She just has people on lock. That's the thing. Amira has all the girls. She has Nicole so locked in that Nicole is begging her basically to work with her. She has this new alliance with Daniel. Nicole, that keeps her in close with Jasmine. Also, she has the girls on her side. She's still in Mamba, so Monty and Kyle really do not have the leverage to put her up, nor the balls. Monty, like Lee said, is literally currently spilling damn near everything he's thinking to her right now, and that's because of the work she put in. So I feel like there is only like one or two people who might nominate her. But if Monty's in their ear, which he probably will be, he might be like, I mean, we could just do Taylor because she's after me and Nicole because she's.
Yeah.
So I don't even think Amira's going to get nominated. Not next week, maybe in a few weeks if there's less people here. But she's still, I feel like, very, very safe. And even if she gets nominated, it's gonna be like a laughing kind of, why did you nominate Amira? Like she's not gonna literally stay. Situation. She's not going home. And I just really think the strategy that she put in this week is really, really positive. Usually in situations like this where it's like someone's challenged, they kind of fold. And Amira didn't really fold. Well, mostly Nicole didn't fold, but Amira didn't fold either. She was like, Pooch is still gonna go, Bookie. So I really do like that for her. But I do feel like Lee said, her position is like it's at risk. So I'm gonna give her a 7 this time. Because I still think she put in very, very great work. Oh God, y'all. So that's a 7 from me, a 6 from Lee, an average of 6.5, and we're on Brittany. Child.
Y'all, Brittany, I cracked Queen Brittany. She is insane. So Brittany is someone who last week a lot of the people were not feeling anymore because she made the bright idea to tell Pooch, someone she had no game relationship with, that Amira was targeting him, which was the truth. Amira did tell Brittany that information because she was in the Girls Alliance created by Paloma, but Pooch immediately told Amira this information, and Amira believes, and like I mentioned earlier, even though she knows this information, she's like, well, I can still work with Brittany because Brittany, when she found out they knew, did pledge allegiance to them. However, Brittany is a self-interested player. I'd say she reminds me of Sarah Beth in the way that she is actively working with a lot of people and showing to them, I'm loyal to you, I want to be with you, but at the end of the day, she is only looking out for herself. She believes that she is at the bottom of this girls' kind of conglomerate with Daniel, Michael, and she's very true on that. They accused her today of literally ratting out the entire alliance when Alyssa did it. But that's because of some of her actions. One of the big things that happened this week, which was similar to last week, she has the bright idea to go tell Joseph, who we all know is besties with Pooch. Pooch literally wants to bust this man down, which we all see. She goes to tell him that Pooch has been saying his name, which I'm pretty sure is that not a blatant lie? Can we fact check that? Like, I didn't see that.
I think that's a blatant lie.
Like, she is just talking.
Said a male's name that was not Joseph.
And the thing is, I see the idea behind Brittany's strategy because she says it. She straight up says it. Like, I want him to think when Pooch goes that I'm someone on his side. I'm someone that you can use. However, baby, you have to create relationships with these people. He doesn't know you. He probably does not even know your last name, babe. Like, honestly, talk to the boy first. You can't just go yell strategy to people and think they're just gonna listen. It sucks because I think she could be in a really good position if she just didn't get so damn paranoid. Like, Brittany, be for real. You think they're gonna target you out of all the people that's doing this? I don't know. Like, you can execute, I think, what she wants to execute by not giving all this information. Like, it's like you're just saying shit. Like, girl. So it's definitely a 3 for me. I want to be lower, but she's not nominated, so it's gonna be a 3 for me. It's not looking good for Brittany. What sucks is that I said last week is that I don't think she'd be able to climb out of this hole, and I think she was actually starting to, mainly because Amira decided not to target her, and she just went ahead and ruined it again. The gag is she didn't even get caught this time in this situation. No one really knows what she told Joseph. She just got caught whispering with him in the corner. And it's like, why are you whispering with this man in the corner? Like, you're just so random. Sit down.
Last week I gave Brittany a 4, and that's because I felt like, contrary to Lee, I did feel like she could get out of the position. It did not feel like it didn't feel like the usual they're gonna be the next target position for me. It felt like Amira's mad, but she's not. Is she really gonna act on this? And she didn't. So I was like, oh my God, Brittany can really be a 5. I came in, literally, y'all, the morning, this morning, in the AM, before they woke up, I was like, I think I could give Brittany a 5. I really do. Because last night's conversation was her, Kyle, and Michael planning out the fact that they're going to bring in Taylor and they're going to ride the middle. So I was like, that's really good for Brittany. And then the day started. This girl, every combo was so bad. It was nasty. And it's just like, I can't even give this girl, like, it just went down every hour. I was like, okay, it's not a 5 no more, it's a 4. So I can give her a 4. And then we found out that the girls know that she was talking to Joseph, and the girls are like, literally, y'all, before we got on, the girls were all talking about how they want to target Brittany next week. They said she has to go next week. There was literally a conversation about that. Indy had to convince them and be like, I don't think she really did this. And it's like, it's good.
And then Indy got turned, but Indy got turned on that too in the same conversation. She was talking about, I'm gonna kick her ass if she don't vote right. Like, they're over it.
They think Brittany's finna throw a rogue vote and try to blame it on Daniel. They think Brittany is working with Joseph. They think she's secretly working with Pooch. They don't know what this girl is doing, and she has given them 0 to little reassurance. A lot of the girls' conversations do not involve Brittany. It's just Brittany sitting there, and it's like, girl, talk to them, like, really get into it, and she's just not doing it. So I'm really gonna have to give her a 3, and it sucks because I wanted to give her a 5. And 3 is generous. You know what? I'm not gonna do it. 3 is just know it's a 3 with an asterisk. Next is Ratniel.
Ratniel.
Daniel is ugly, but other than him being ugly,
oh my God,
it just makes me think of somebody who doesn't think he's ugly. But we're not gonna get into that yet. So I guess we have to. So Daniel is not in a bad position, how I thought he would be, because Nicole is really dragging him along in this game.
She is by his bootstraps, y'all.
By his motherfucking tailbone, y'all. Because Nicole is now in Mamba and she told Daniel about it, they now have the opportunity to usurp that, whatever. They have the opportunity to get rid of that. And Daniel is benefiting from Nicole's maneuvering of that alliance. Monty really got like he really fucked his game up, and Monty fucking his game up really opens up a lot of pathways for Daniel. Daniel is in this majority grouping of the people who are going to evict Pooch. He also is being brought into this no-named alliance that could be a thing that's really good for him. But even if he's not, he's developing a connection with the people in it. And that's really good for him because the people in it are at the head of the house, like Amira. Amira and Nicole are getting really close, and that by proxy means Daniel is in a good position. A lot of his position is by proxy and not necessarily by what he's doing. He might not get nominated soon because a lot of people are now trying to target Monty, Joseph, and Turner for the boys, and for the girls, Nicole, Amira, people who aren't him, unless they nominate him against Nicole, which is possible, but that hasn't been discussed because they want the boys to work together and the girls want to take out the boys who aren't working with them. So he's in a really good position, honestly. However, I just don't equate that to things that he's done because according to the conversations, it's really because of Nicole. Nicole's the one who talks to Amir. Nicole's the one who has made this alliance. Nicole has Terrence. Nicole has Alyssa. Nicole's the one who's talking to the girls right now. Nicole's in Mamba. So it's like just because his proximity to Nicole, he's in this position, which is why I'm going to give him a 4.5. Because he just didn't do anything. But he's in a good position. 4.5.
Yeah. I think I'm agree with the 4.5 on that as well. I'm shocked because I thought he would be in a way worse position. I thought it was just going to be a downward spiral, and honestly, he's still just not doing that good. This 4.5 is strictly because he is in a great position because of that. I feel like with him being in this big conglomerate and because he's a male in this situation, he's probably not going to get targeted on either side. If a boy wins, they can't risk putting up Daniel because it's like that's another guy leaving. They're not going to want another guy leaving, so he still has that window, and then also because he's not really solidified in the group with this big, huge majority, he can kind of wiggle around that. A lot of them will probably get hits taken at them. Nicole will probably get targeted before him at this point. Taylor's kind of a shield in front of him. Amira, these are a lot of people who are kind of forming up in front of him. However, I still don't see an end game for him. Like we mentioned, right now, a lot of his game is based on what Nicole is doing. Nicole, he literally gets most of information from Nicole. Honestly, or and any information he gets, he brings back to Nicole. For example, Monty has planned to try to bring Daniel in. So he is giving him information on, well, not really information, but he's been trying to sway him to flip the vote. He's brought all the information right back to Nicole, his master. I hate to say it. It really sucks because if he wants to go to the end with Nicole, that's not good because Nicole is definitely beating him. And he should definitely know that. However, I do think if he can kind of stay in this good position and kind of work where he's at right now, I do think he could potentially get in a spot where he could win the game. Honestly, he has pretty good connections. No one really dislikes him. Sadly, someone likes him way too damn much. But I do think he has the potential to really make it far now, which I didn't see at first. So I think he definitely deserves to go up a bit. But I won't feel confident giving him a 5 or more until I see him actively putting in work himself, which I don't think he's doing.
I agree. Next we have Indy.
Oh my god, I love Indy. Indy has really grown on me this week. Because honestly, she's just real. I hate it. I hate to say it. She is really she is literally playing Big Brother Brazil. She is telling everybody to their face how she feels. So strategically this week, Indy is also, she's in the 6-person Girls Alliance, so she's part of that. Well, 5-person because Paloma's out. And she's also in the big majority vote to evict Pooch. Her connections have been kind of weird because she has a connection with Monty and she has a connection with Joseph. She wanted a threesome type thing with them two. She told them, like I said last week, that I'm a guy's girl. I want to work with y'all. I love you guys. Indy preseason, she kept mentioning how this is a real game, real emotions. I'm going here to put that basically wear her heart on her sleeve, and she's definitely doing that because this week, essentially, she was told that Joseph mentioned putting her up as a pawn, as a nominee, which he's definitely done because Joseph only wants to target women because he's weird. So that got back to Indy because she's in the Girl Alliance and they shared information with her, and that broke Indy because Indy was like, oh my God, that's like my brother. Like, she literally looks at Joseph and Monty as her brother. Ken, girl. Like, it's something serious. So she approached him and she was like, are you saying my name? Like, what's T? And basically, he fed her some bullshit. Indy clocked that it was bullshit. So now she does not trust Joseph and she does not trust Monty. And she also hates Pooch. So the fact that they want to save Pooch is making her more pissed at them. I like Indy because I honestly thought she was someone who's going to be swayed by people like Monty and people like Joseph, because I won't say they put in good work, but they definitely play into that. Well, we love you. We are like your but you know what I mean? They kind of play into that, even though they definitely would target her and put her up if they need to. Monty was planning on putting her up if he won. So it's like they're definitely lying to her face, but I'm glad because she clocked that. The issue with Indy is that if she's not going to work with them because she has sworn off working with him because they lied to her, essentially, she'll have to work with the girls. But the girls also don't trust her. Mainly Amira. Amira and Nicole has had several conversations about Indy needing to go before jury because now they see her as an emotional player, which sadly she honestly is. Like, she is basing a lot of things on, how it makes her feel, and she's being upfront about it. People don't want a player like that in jury because if we get it out, you're not going to get a vote, and people don't like that. So I do think it's going to become really, really simple for her to do, just like, well, bye. Another thing with Indy is that people be like, okay, don't go say anything. Like, when they told her about the Joseph information, they told her not to go say anything to him. She did go say something to him, which they were not happy about. She's also mentioned how she would love to go to the end with Monty, which has pissed the girls off. It's a lot of inconsistencies in Indy's game, which really, really messes her up. So I just feel like I can't necessarily give it. I gotta give her a 3 as well. Because I feel like she kind of is in that same position as Brittany, and I don't think it's going to improve because I think she's going to kind of stay it. Like, she doesn't know how she's being perceived because the big thing about this house is that they talk shit behind people's back. So she doesn't even understand that the people she's closest with aren't thinking these things about her. So I don't know. It's just, you know what, a 3.5. A 3.5 because she's in more game conversations than Brittany. You know what I mean? And she does have a potential to stay because of those game conversations. So I don't want to put her that low, but it's like it's not looking good for Indy at all.
Yeah, I agree with the 3.5. I'm going to give her a 3.5 also. A lot of what you said really is just the truth. Like, Indy has, a emotional side to her game. No, Indy's game is just based off of pure how she feels. Because, like you said, she's playing Big Brother Brazil, so she's just being herself. And being yourself and just playing about how you feel really doesn't, it turns the girls off. So the girls are really looking at her sideways, and they've had done a lot of bashing. It got like similar to Taylor, not the same because it wasn't.
Yeah.
Weird, but it did get to the point where they were literally bashing her almost every conversation, and they really like replaced the Taylor bashing with the indie bashing,
and slight Brittany,
and slightly Brittany. So it's like she's not in a good position in that sense. She's also kind of messing up her relationships, I feel, with the guys because people don't like when you don't do what they want you to do, and they thought Indy was gonna do whatever the fuck they wanted. So now that Indy's like, I'm not voting out, I'm voting out Pooch Bookie, they're not going to like that. And I feel like if there's a time where she's nominated, even Joseph and Monty are gonna be like, well, I mean, she might have to go. So it's like she doesn't necessarily have anybody going to bat for her at all, and she doesn't have enough game sense to, I feel like, ever wiggle out of that situation. Which is why I agree with the 3.5 honestly. Next we have Jasmine. Jasmine won HOH, and honestly, the fact that she wanted to get out Taylor alone is just stupid. So I feel like that automatically puts her below a 5, babe. But she didn't get her HOH ran, but she did because, like I said, she really wanted Taylor to go. It was a lot of convincing for her to even get on the bandwagon of getting out Pooch. But when she did, she was very stern about that, which was interesting. I don't know. I found that interesting. Jasmine is invited into this empty alliance that hasn't been named that Nicole is trying to create because Jasmine does have good relationships socially. No one really talks shit about Jasmine. A lot of people like Jasmine. However, she is being grouped into this core of the girls by the boys. So if Monty or someone like that does win HOH, Jasmine is very, very exposed when it comes to allegiances. Monty has no allegiance to Jasmine. He does to Nicole and Amira. And who is Nicole and Amira closest to? Jasmine. So I do think the target on Jasmine is growing because of her proximity to the bad bitches in the house who are running the game. And since she's not in those alliances like they are, since she's not in those structures like they are, she is vulnerable. So I think that's very, very bad for her game. I do think it's good that her social connections are there. She is in this majority. It is more likely for the majority of people to win HOH, like a Michael or one of the girls or Terrence or Daniel. So she is in a better position for being in that group. However, the people outside of that group, if they do win an HOH, she's probably, in my opinion, the most likely to be actually taken out because I don't think they have the balls to take out Nicole and or Amira. And even if they try, it might be on the block next to Jasmine, and Jasmine could easily just be the one who gets evicted in that scenario.
Because I mean, she got a broken foot at this point. They're gonna be
and
like,
she got a
we don't
broken
even
foot.
need her.
So I'm gonna have to give her a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Give her a 4.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with that 4. I'm really low on Jasmine this week. I think for a lot of things. Also, too, we didn't even speak about she is HOH, and Daniel did not create a structure, and neither did she, which is really bad because she also knows she's not in any real structure but the girls thing, and she didn't really branch out towards that. You know, when Nicole and Amira kind of came up with this idea, she was like, "Bet, I guess we're doing it," and she kind of just been sitting on it. She's been on that this whole time. You know, because she rolled her ankle, she's a little bit, she's not as mobile as she can be, so she kind of has to stay in one spot every once in a while. But she is one of the best things about her game last week was that no one was targeting her, no one was saying her name. Now people are saying her name, and like Farrell mentioned, she doesn't have the allegiances to protect her, which isn't going to be good for her. I do think there's a chance she can still skate by, but with people at this point, people are going to want to align with people they feel like can help them. And how can Jasmine help them with this rolled ass ankle? She did just win HOH, so it's not like she can't win comps, but she's not going to be seen as useful, I feel. And she clearly hasn't been seen as that because she's not in any real alliances, which is the problem. So I do think she is an easy shot that can be taken. So I think you do guys just bring her down because she's starting to fall back strategically. She really is. Like, and she's going to end up getting cut. I do feel like people like Brittany and Indy could go before her, but positioning in the house, she's still towards the bottom. Mm-hmm. And I think she could have easily propelled it with this HOH, but she did not.
Mm-hmm. Next we have Joseph. Joseph is actually like entering the game a little bit. He is a part of the discussion of the Save Pooch movement that is not going anywhere. He has this connection with Indy that he's trying to leverage. He's trying to get the guys to try to flip Indy kind of towards the guy's side. He is having a lot of conversation about how the girls are all together and he needs to stick with the guys. Brittany approached him because he felt like he was on the outside of the situation. His social game in general is good because a lot of the girls, even though they know he's one of the most vulnerable guys, are kind of like, but we kind of don't want to put up Joe. Joseph's so sweet and woo. Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, like, I kind of didn't care about that at first, but it matters because now they're speaking about not even wanting to nominate him because they like him so much. And I feel like since that's a thing, it must be mentioned, I feel, when we're talking about him because I feel like, in my opinion, it's way easier to target Joseph than Turner because what the fuck is a Turner? But they're not even wanting to do that. They're still wanting to target Turner first before Joseph. But he's still not in a good position. Pooch, who is one of his closest allies, is going home. The boys' alliance is crumbling, crackling, and dropping. Turner is probably going to be the next target, and if not Turner, it's going to be him. So he's still in a horrible position, but he is somewhat entering the game, and people like him in a general sense. So because of that, I guess I'll give him a 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he definitely entered the game more. I was really upset with him last week because I just felt like him saying things like, "Well, I'm here to make friends," or like that was pissing me off. Like his true self is definitely coming out. He's starting to dislike a few people other than Taylor. So it's definitely coming out who his real allegiance is for, who he's fighting for. But ever since he's came out, I mean, it hasn't been for a good cause. I mean, I think he is honestly really similar to Brittany in a way to where it's like he kind of goes around and throws strategy at people, and then they're kind of just like, okay. And because he doesn't have as much information as like to who's with who, he's almost always wrong or always going to the wrong person. Like he's not he's not sharp. He's just not sharp. It's nothing. Not much is going on there. I feel like I'm gonna give him a 3 because
Oh,
I
that's
do feel
sweet.
like I do feel like he's not the biggest target there. I do think at this point Monty's can be a target over him. I do think Amira, Nicole, these are some people who I think can easily go over Joseph because he's not one of the main people heading this. However, it's starting to pick up. It's starting to pick up today. He is one of the main people, along with Monty, who is really pushing people to try to flip. He had a conversation with Indy today, trying to get her to flip. He's talked to Brittany and Michael in the room together about trying to get them to flip. So if he keeps doing this, he's going to make himself more of a target. And Indy even told him that. So it has to be a 3. It's because the issue is that even if he's able to win HOH next week, he will likely probably try to get out Taylor because Monty's going to be in his ear. Or even whatever shot he takes, he's always going to be towards the bottom of the house because he does not know enough about this game, is what I get from it. Point blank, period.
Period. How you feel about Kyle?
So Kyle, I feel like Kyle's game is pretty weird. I do feel like he's someone who's a front runner to potentially win the game. However, he's in a really sticky situation. This week, like we mentioned earlier, he was kind of thrusted into the whole guys keeping Pooch thing because he felt like, as with Monty, that Pooch is a number for them, which for Kyle, he really is a number for him because Pooch has said to him multiple times, to him and Turner, that you're my number one, you're my number two. Pooch does not need to go for him. However, Kyle has so many different places that he can go. Like the girls, when they're talking about targeting the big guys, they're really not talking about Kyle. They're mentioning Turner, they're mentioning Pooch, they're mentioning Monty, they're mentioning Joseph. Like people like Kyle because he has a great personality. He's built really good connections with people. And he's even said this week that he's thinking about just voting out Pooch. So if Taylor were to win, she wouldn't put him up. And I feel like if he does go ahead and do that, they won't even worry about targeting Kyle at all. He has this outsiders thing with Michael and Brittany, so that's other allegiances he has. And then if he I think whether he votes out Pooch or not, he's always going to have the guys. If Turner or Joseph win, they're not going to put up Kyle. They have no reason to. If a girl win, they're not going to put up Kyle. He's probably one of the best positioned people in this house, and he still has many positions that he can go. I think I'm gonna do a 6.5 with Kyle. I feel like with him being one of the safest people in the house right now, like I really don't see people really wanting to target him. I don't. And he's someone that he comes across as like, oh, well, he's likable. He's not like the rest of them. We can work with him. We can use him. Even though he's in the mix of all this shit. He knows all of the information. Him along with Monty knew since the plan was originated that Pooch was going home. He was walking around here acting dumb and ditzy like he's not in one of the main alliances. And it's really making people want to try to pull him in. And I do think that people are just going to keep wanting to do that. And so he potentially sitting in that final two. My thing is that I wanted, like I said last week, I wanted to see if it's more activeness on his part, which I feel like he has shown. It's just now he has to get into that good positioning because with this whole boy versus girl divide, he is unfortunately still a boy. So he's playing for the wrong team. Unfortunately, so I do think he could do better with working his way in with the girls. However, no matter who wins, he's not going up.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he is one of the most well positioned people in the house. I feel like he did a good job with the Pooch situation. I think it was a part of his duty to try to see if the vote could flip. I think it's also part of his duty, which Monty did not get the memo of, to pivot or to try to make a relationship with someone or to try to do something else. And Kyle did something else other than just try to flip the vote very aggressively. So I like that he did do that, but I feel like this was still bad for him. Who's going home is not good for his game at all. He had a really good bond with Pooch, like Lee said. So I do feel like that's a struggle for him. He's not in the main scheme of the Big Girls Alliance situation, and that's also bad for him. What is good going for him is the outsiders thing because he's in it with Michael. But on the flip side, he's also in it with Brittany. And Brittany being in it is not necessarily good. Michael being in it is really good. But either way, his connection with Michael is very good because Michael is in probably the best position in the house. And Michael has a lot of cool, I feel, in what the direction of the season is going to go. So Kyle being linked up with Michael is going to really, really help his game. I also feel like the fact that Kyle does have a lot of close relationships with like Alyssa, Monty will never go after him. And these are people who are in the mix of the game because Alyssa is in the two alliances that are trying to be formed. Michael's in a lot of the stuff. Monty's on the boy side. So Kyle has all of his close allies are involved in almost every corner of the house, which I feel like is very good for him. So he has a lot of positives going to this game, but I still need to see next week how it progresses with this outsiders thing and with the boys kind of being on the outs of the house. So I'm gonna also give him a 6, to be honest. Now we have Michael. Michael is in a phenomenal position. He's in with the girls very well, like very much so in with them. They don't even see him like they see him as with them. Period. He's also in with this outsiders thing with Brittany and Kyle, and it doesn't seem like people notice that. And it being a secret and people not noticing his relationship to Kyle is very, very beneficial for his game because that's like a secret weapon for Michael to use, his relationship with Kyle and his relationship with Brittany. He's also developing a very good relationship with Taylor, which is very positive because Taylor is staying, boo. So that also can be another secret weapon for him. Michael has a lot of secret weapons in this game, and he's one of the only people I feel in that majority group that has secret secret people to help him in this game. So I think that's really, really going to propel him. He's in a very good position because no one's ever going to target Michael. Michael's not going to be targeted for weeks. He's automatically like in the top 7 in my mind because no one's going to target him for that long. There's so many people above him that have to go before he even gets considered as a pawn, a nominee, or anything. So I really, really think that's good for him. And he's good at these comps. Even though these comps are more equitable, he's shown to be a little bit more savvy in winning them because he's already won 2 POVs. So I feel like for Michael, he's in a very, very good position. I think he has a general game sense, but I still haven't seen kind of like what we got from Amira, what we got from Paloma, what we get from like, some of the strategists. I've seen a lot of passivity, but he could just be playing his game slower. Like I'm gonna start off slow at the beginning, then I'll pick it up. But he hasn't picked it up yet, which is why I'm still like wavering with him. But honestly, from position alone, from clearly he's good at comps, and from the fact that he has so many options, I'm gonna give him a 7.5. Period.
So I feel like I'm definitely not that high on Michael. I do think Michael is playing well, but I feel like I'm not too high on him because I feel like um I just need to see him in that power position. You know what I mean? Like for me at this moment, I feel like he's still too kind of under the radar. He has connections, but he's not really leading them into doing anything. He's not really pushing his own agenda. Now, these are not things that he may necessarily need to be doing yet. These are something that he probably can do in the end game. However, at this time, I'm not even seeing that he is capable of doing so. And I think he needs to do so to get to the end of this game and potentially win it. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I want to see more of that. And also at this point, he is in a safe position because I do feel like the boys are not necessarily going to put him up, and the girls are definitely not going to put him up, like Pharaoh mentioned. So I feel like in that regards, people won't want to touch him. However, he is seen as someone who's smart. They see him as a super fan, and they know he can win the fuck out of comp. So he is someone that I do feel like that target is going to really come up again. Like similar to DX last season, like he won the first 2 vetoes. People feel like they can use him, so they brought him in. Like him and DX have a very similar story here, and I can definitely see how DX mainly was targeted because the cookout needed him to go, but it's also because you can't let someone like that get too far. Like yeah, Michael is likable, but Michael could also win the whole game. So that's something that I feel like he's gonna have to deal with later on, and I feel like this house is so chaotic, it's so all over the place that if he doesn't solidify a majority for himself, that's going to for sure keep him safe when it gets to those numbers, he could easily be out because I don't think Brittany's going to be here for the long haul. I don't. He mentioned he wants to bring Taylor to the end. However, I don't think Taylor will necessarily just stay loyal with him. I don't know. We don't even know Taylor's going to get that far. Right now, it's like a lot of connections where it's like, I don't know how they're going to propel him moving forward because it's not like power decision. So for me, I'm gonna do a 6.5. Like that's what I'm looking at moving forward to see kind of if he kind of pushing his own agenda is what I want to see.
Who's next? Girl.
Coontie child. So Monty, Coontie, tap dancey. So he is still obsessed with Taylor. Because
Y'all, it's the one. Keep going though.
he's done so many bad things this week. Like for starters, he brought Nicole into alliance, which to the Paloma's Pack alliance, which completely sunk his game. Because when she was initially brought into the alliance, she thought that, oh, this is a brand new alliance that was created by maybe Monty, and we're just brought into it, and we can kind of work this out. Well, Monty had the right idea to let her know that, oh no, this was started on day one by Paloma, and you're only in it because she's out of the game. So Nicole, brought this information to her father, to Daniel, and they basically discussed Monty's a rat and he gotta go. Like, no, we don't like that man. And also because Monty has this weird obsession with Taylor. Literally, Taylor wanted to work with this man. We all know that. He knows that. She wanted to work with him likely because they were both black. Like I mentioned, little did she know Monty is a coon, but bless her heart, she had no way of knowing that. He is now obsessed with wanting to target her. Does he not realize if he likely had one real conversation with this girl that she may not want to target you? Like, you literally trashed her entire game and then got stuck on wanting her out. And now that she's not going home, all you can think about is, well, what if she wins we'll go talk to her. Like, it's literally not that hard. You're in the majority alliance. It's so weird because Monty has this really, really weird issue with Pooch going home as if he did not know about it when the plan was created. He's the main one walking around talking about the girls are in the house and are we being told a narrative? Are we being... No, they literally told you 2 days ago that they wanted him out because they were targeting us. Why are we now forgetting? I don't understand. Like, I think maybe he's using that for strategy, but he's going to all the wrong people. He's been told several times. He was told when he brought Nicole into alliance that Nicole is close with Daniel. So now he's telling Daniel that you can't trust the girls after you've been told multiple times that Nicole and Daniel are a thing. He's telling Michael that you can't trust the girls, even though Michael has been in the HOH room with them all day. He's even telling Terrence they can't trust the girls, and Terrence is ratting his ass out. He has little to no allies, and this Pooch ship that he's trying to hang on to is not helping him at all. And I think why he's so low as a player is because fuck position. Like, when you are really getting into the game talks he's having, he is not talking about anything for real. He's repeating the same thing. He's essentially wanted to flip this vote and has just been saying the same thing to the same people. They now have a bright idea to get the boys all together. It's Pooch, Turner, Kyle, Monty, Daniel. Wait, no. So Monty, Joseph, Kyle, Turner, Pooch. They want to come together and they want to bring in Terrence and Daniel so they can solidify a 7 to keep Pooch. Mind you, they need 7 votes and Pooch can't vote, so they will still need another person. And Terrence and Daniel have already ratted Monty out several times today, and they're likely gonna just rat him out again. Like, it's so bad. And the thing is, it's not like he didn't know these things. I mean, like I said, he's been saying the girls are in the HOH whole time. Daniel, Michael, and Terrence has been up there with them. Like, you're so blinded by your Taylor hate and toxic masculinity that you can't even see it, you stupid coon. So yeah, it's a 2 for me. I really hope he goes home soon. I think regardless if he wins HOH next week or someone wins HOH that keeps him safe, he's really bad at the game. Like, if it goes boy versus girl, these boys are going to get knocked out because Turner has no social connections or awareness. Neither does Pooch. Neither does Monty. And neither does Joseph. These boys are dumb.
Period. Yeah, it's really bad for Monty. As we're speaking, Alyssa is currently telling Amira that Monty and Joe are allegedly trying to start an alliance with Indy, and he's been getting thrown under the bus all day. Alyssa has thrown him under the bus. Daniel and Terrence have thrown him under the bus. He was already under the bus. Nicole is working overtime to ensure he goes home. Taylor already wants to target him. Daniel, by proxy of Nicole, wants him to go home. So if all the girls want you to go home and Daniel wants you to go home, then Who don't want you to go home?
And I just want to say, I love to see it because that's that Taylor voodoo, baby. You got on national TV talking trash about a black woman, and look how that karma spied back on that ass.
Right back on that ass.
Go right out in public, and we're gonna drag him even more. I can't wait. He thought he was gonna be Xavier, babe. It's giving Brent. It's giving Travis. You're a disgrace, babe.
Period. Yeah, it's really bad for Monty. The girls want him out. Everybody really wants him out at this point, and that's because he has played so horribly. He's ruined his position. He's hyper focused on saving someone who's a lost cause. Pooch never had the votes, and he
mind you.
That.
Pooch has thrown his name out this week. Everyone has thrown this man's name out.
Pooch told Alyssa that Pooch just told Alyssa that Monty was trying to create an alliance with Joe and Indy, and Alyssa is telling Amira this information right now. The Pooch, the man that Monty is trying overtime to save. Ooh, you lost. You did. You're doing all this work for someone who is not have your best.
But the thing is,
he threw his name up to Jasmine. Jasmine don't even trust him no more. No one trusts him.
What's worse about it is that he was one of the first people to know about the plan. He is sinking his game over a plan he has known about for days.
It's very bad gameplay. I've never seen someone ruin their position like this. He was also getting a lot of help from Paloma in his positioning and in the everything, the mind category. So the fact that she left also ruined his position in general. And then he just ruined his own position more and more. Why would you add the one person who is in a known pair in the house, Nicole, to your alliance, and then not build off of that? All he's done is argue with Nicole since he brought her into the alliance without telling his other allies. So now Alyssa's mad at him because she didn't know. Kyle didn't even know. They didn't even know he brought Nicole in. Not only did they not know he brought her in, they didn't know he told her it was already in alliance before. He's done nothing but horrible work this entire week. And his position is now in the garbage. He's now not included in this majority situation. He doesn't even have any leeway because people don't even want to work with him like they want to work with Kyle. The only people he has is the boys, and the boys are going home. And by the boys, I mean literally Joseph and Turner. Those are the only boys he has.
And they're both because Kyle is bucket of spit. So.
Because Kyle is ready to jump ship, Buki. Kyle is very in the mindset of, if I gotta jump ship, I definitely will. So this dude has the two stupidest players in and himself, who is also the third dumbest player, in his corner. So he just really has nothing going on for him. Now let's get to a real player. Nicole, I really, really like how Nicole's position has turned around. Because Monty is stupid and he invited her into this majority alliance, Nicole has been able to destroy it. She really kind of shoved Monty out of it.
Yeah, ruined his game.
Ruined his game. Her creating this really good relationship with Amira and then really standing firm on countering what Monty was doing, and Kyle a little bit. It really kind of pushed Monty and Kyle away from the core of this game and pushed her, and she brought Daniel with her into it. So now her and Daniel, who was her closest ally, and everyone knows that, but who we moved, are now included in this kind of majority structure. And she's very, very close to one of the main people of the structure, Amira, who's running the strategy. Nicole showed that she has a activeness to her game that I was not necessarily sure that she did, but she showed that she's able to propose this alliance. She's able to propose the fact that Daniel get invited in. She's able to push and stand firm against Monty. She's able to push an agenda of the fact that Monty can definitely go. She was able to help push the agenda that Taylor needed to stay. She helped get the vote on Pooch. She helped make sure that the boys are in a bad position. This was a lot of Nicole's
She
work.
brought Terrence in on the plan. The main reason why they have the votes is because she ran Daniel and Terrence.
Two of the boys who they needed. She has minions. She literally has minions. So it takes a lot to have minions in this game, and she has them. So I really, really, honestly, I respect that. I'm going to give Nicole a 6.5, just because this is new to her game, and she has to keep it up, and she's also a target for the boys. She's doing all this, but Kyle and Monty have clocked. Kyle and Monty are like, honestly, Nicole needs to go. And they say Amira, but honestly, it's mostly Nicole than Amira. And that's the issue.
And see, and that's my issue with Nicole. Because if we're looking at last week, like I was definitely firm in that 3 because I do think she was playing bad, and there was a lot because of proxy by Daniel. I mentioned that she was a great social player, and she herself could probably work out of it, which she did essentially do by being invited and getting in that, majority secret alliance. However, because she kind of, took over it and pushed Monty and all the way the fuck out, she has put herself in a position to where her name is being coming as a target, like the main target, and that is not good for her. She's walking around openly saying, I'm gonna win and make big moves and da da da, being very, very, very intense with her gameplay. Like people are catching up on that, and I don't think, like I said, and I mentioned this, like because we've seen where she was strategically, for me, now that she's doing better, it's hard to forget how bad it was. And also, even while looking at it, I'm not seeing an end game for Nicole. A lot of it seems very in current. Like that conversation with Monty in the storage room was handled terribly a lot on her part. It was really bad. Like that was the conversation that made Monty really feel like I cannot work with Nicole in the mirror, because Nicole was acting a fool. Like she was about to turn into Officer Nicole real quick. He was about to be in handcuffs, I fear. It's like it was gonna be bad. Like it got crazy. So I just feel like she's still not all the way there for me. I feel like I want to give her a good score because she did put in such great work. All of those things cannot be ignored. And like I said, the reason why they have the votes is because of the work that she put in socially. So I feel like I have to give it a 5. I feel like I have to give it a 5 because if this next HOH, these next few HOHs go her or the girl's way, she is going to stay in a good position, and that's what I need to see. That's what I'm looking for. Can she maintain the position that she's in? Because next week, Joseph would easily win. Her ass would be out the damn door.
Yeah. I don't know about out the door.
She would. I do. I honestly think if
door.
a boy wins, Nicole or Amira is getting back door, and I think Nicole is the biggest one they're going to look at.
Yeah.
They definitely get her out first, I feel.
That's true. I'm going to bring her down, but only to a 6. It's not that bad for Elmo. Girl. Next person is
Pooch nominated himself. It's a 1.
I agree. Next, we have Taylor. Taylor is the baddest bitch. I genuinely think that Taylor has played her social pariah position so well. It's a mixture of the fact that are we really skipping Pooch? Because I was down.
Oh, I'm down. Pooch nominated himself and he's going home. There's not much to say. He's now trying to stay, but he's not going to. There's literally just not much to say. He's been flirting with Joseph a lot. Joseph is uncomfortable with it. He's been flirting with Kyle a lot. Kyle is also very uncomfortable with it. So he's pissing a lot. He's pissing everyone off.
He's pissing everybody off.
He does not think he's going home. Like while we're recording, he was having a conversation with Michael about, we should have an alliance. We should work together. Pooch walked away, and Michael was like, I know this man is not coming to me on day 14 for an alliance. Get the fuck out of my face. Like, this just happened. This man has no chance of staying. And honestly, it's to his own fault because Jasmine mentioned several times she wanted Taylor out. She mentioned she was probably not going to put up Pooch until he freaking requested it him damn self. He offered himself up on a silver platter. He's going home. It's a 1.
Period. Taylor, I really like how Taylor has approached her situation because I think it really, really equated to why she's not in a horrible, terrible position, how she low-key should be. Usually the people who are in Taylor's position have 0 chance and negative chance of getting out of it. They really stay in this, you are hated by everyone and you will forever be hated by everyone, and we're going to keep trying until we take your ass out, period. Era. And Taylor's, I don't necessarily consider her in that position anymore because she's not the next target. She's not even the target after that. They're talking about targeting Turner, Joseph, and Brittany, and Indy, even before they are trying to target Taylor. And by they, I mean Amira, who's at the center of the house. I mean Nicole, who's at the head of the house. I mean Daniel, who now wants her to stay because of certain things. And I really like that for her. And I think a part of it comes from the fact that she was secretly hated. We don't usually get that with the social pariah. Taylor never really knew she was hated. So Taylor never took upon the role of everyone hates me. She took upon the role of I'm still going to try to play the game like I'm a regular player. Even though I'm getting nominated, I'm going to just act like I'm just as the same as Amira. Like I'm just Jasmine. Like I'm just Indy. I'm a regular person who has the same amount of, opportunity to win. And I think approaching that position in that way as if you're just a normal player, I think is very beneficial. And I think Taylor is kind of proof of that. We've never seen it happen. So it's kind of been hard to ever even consider that because most people who get pushed against the wall act like they're pushed against the wall. They get very defensive. They just don't really talk to anyone. They don't approach conversations in a normal manner. Taylor kind of just walks up to people and talks game, which kind of gets her, we'll talk about that soon. But also, I feel like the fact that she approaches people and just talks to them regularly helps people kind of perceive her as a normal player instead of perceiving her as this
A
pariah.
pariah.
Which is why people are comfortable bringing her or thinking about bringing her in, voting to save her, not thinking about targeting her anymore because she isn't taking the form of a pariah. She's taking the form of a normal player. So they're treating her like one, and she's becoming more and more engraved within the actual game. She still has zero fucking alliances. She is staying, but she might get nominated by the people who are saving her, even though she's not going to be a target. So that's still very, very bad. But honestly, the reason she's even targeted is because she's a black woman. So I'm going to give her a 5 because the original reason is horrible anyway. I'm going to keep my 5. I think she's played it good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I feel like a good majority of people would have. I don't think a lot of people could have been in this.
No, I agree. I feel like she's definitely playing the cards that were dealt to her very, very well. And honestly, I'm really happy she stayed this week. And I'm happy that she's going to stay again this week because it's really showing people, a lot of times in these situations where, a woman of color, it's like a woman of color, a black woman is targeted earlier in the game because of being black. A lot of people like this then start making up things. Well, they're not a good player. They're just not good at the game. And I feel like it would have been very easy for a lot of people to sit up here and say, Taylor is not a good player. She's not good at the game. And that is just already proven false because now she's making a second week in the game without even necessarily being the next direct target. You have Turner, you have Joseph, you have Monty, you have Jasmine, you have Amira and Nicole, all people who are likely going to get targeted before Taylor because of work that she essentially put in. Now, y'all, let's go ahead and deep dive into it. So at the beginning of the week, the girls were still talking shit about Taylor. Taylor was still the main punching bag of the season. And then one night, they got alcohol. You was getting a little tipsy. It was getting real crazy. And, Taylor admitted, while hanging out with the girls, talking gang with the girls, re-solidifying, recouping, showing them that I want to be with y'all, I want to work with y'all, they were really getting close. All the girls. So the girls were kind of starting to warm up to her. And then she admitted, unfortunately, that she had a crush on Daniel. Now, I'm going to just claim that she has Stockholm Syndrome. She's playing the game. Anything else but what might be the truth. I honestly, any scenes we see with Taylor and Daniel are edited. I'm letting y'all know right now. They are edited. The feeds can be edited. They're not real. That part we're not claiming. However, it has kind of catapulted her into a really, really decent position in the game. She has been mentioned as someone to be nominated by the girls. However, they have the votes to keep her safe if she's next to one of the boys, which she likely will be. And honestly, unless Monty is the main one pushing it, if he's in the position of power, I don't think a boy would definitely put her up either because now they're starting to get more focused on Amira, Nicole, Jasmine. It's a good chance that she can kind of skate her way through. Honestly, I feel like she's in just as much danger as Nicole, so I'm going to give her a 5 as well.
Yeah, and she's being talked about being invited into this outsiders group. There's a potential that the outsiders group can succeed, and in that potential that it succeeds, and the potential that Taylor gets brought in, that's a really good potential position for Taylor. Is the question is will it succeed? So that's why I'm not going to get too much into that. But I do want to speak on the fact of why the girls now are not punching bagging Taylor. I think when Taylor admitted to having a crush on Redacted, I believe the girls it made her human to the girls. I don't think the girls saw her as normal like them. They saw her as, oh, she thinks she's better than us, and she thinks she's just the shit, and she probably buys Prada, and she walks runways, and she probably thinks she's that girl, and she always has to have her hair done. her having a crush on the ugliest man in the house.
Oh my God.
No, seriously, it really made them humanize her, and it reminded them like, oh wait, she's not that girl. Like she doesn't think she's better than us. She does. Like I feel like if Taylor would have said, "I have a crush on Joseph," they would have been like, exactly, we caught her. We caught that bitch.
Know it. We know it.
She's so what's the word to be self-centered? Oh, self-centered. She's just so all about
shallow.
She's so shallow. But the fact that she likes this ugly, terrible, disgusting looking human, it really like makes her human too. They're like, wow, like wait, like so in the back, it's like kind of psychology, I think. Like in the back of their mind, because they haven't said this, but I think in the back of their mind, they just like rewired their tailored notches to think like, oh, she's actually normal. Because it is hard, especially when you hate someone from the beginning and you've just been bashing and bashing and bashing. Something like this, something that humanizes them, really like shakes the brain a little bit, and it's like, oh wait,
it's really shocking because the girls have stopped completely. I mean, someone like Jasmine, who has in any conversation will have to drag Taylor, has not mentioned the girl in like 2 days in that negative light at all. I'm gagged, y'all. The only people who are really talking negative about her is Pooch, who is going home, Joseph, who does not have a mind of his own, and Monty, who's a coon. So really, I mean, I don't really see the problem. And Taylor, who doesn't bathe. So really, the only bitches hating on Taylor are stinky men who don't wash their ass. So she's
no, and I do want to say Taylor's social game, and I feel like her strategic game has always been like, I feel at least average or above average, especially socially. Her and Jasmine have always talked. They've always been in conversation. She's always had a great relationship with Nicole. She's always talked to Daniel. She's always talked to Amira all the time.
So it's not like she's coming out of nowhere speaking to them. Like they've been speaking with you. Now they just don't like. Now they kind of like you. Exactly. Like for example, Daniel, who was claiming, "Ew, I hate her. She's following around." It's like now giggling in this girl's face. Because of course, he likes some attention, and it's from gorgeous Taylor. Like we're not gonna. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. I was really waiting to see his response because I wished he would sit up here and try to act like Taylor is not the most gorgeous girl he's ever seen. Literally. So I'm very glad that he acted accordingly. He should be lucky, very, because child, we don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, and I really just
I'm gonna still stand by my sister because she's a white man's whore. I am too. Oh, I can't call this woman a whore. I'm a white man's whore,
and she is. But honestly, I'm not gonna comment on that because she doesn't know all the horrid, terrible.
Exactly. That's why it's Stockholm syndrome, y'all. It's not like this. Mm-hmm. It's like she does not know. So that's why I'm really hoping. That's the thing, y'all, because Taylor is horny. That's what it would come down to. That's the thing. Here's the real tea. Here's the real tea. She basically told the girls, "I got a crush on Daniel because he mentioned that he wears Magnum condoms." Now Daniel is 6'3", and y'all know it really be the ugly ones with the.
It be the disgusting, the more ugly.
It really do, because like I bet it's like ooh. So I really hope. That's the at this point, Taylor's gonna be, impromptu as she should. And I do feel like Daniel's gonna make it kind of far. So I'm trying to think, oh my God, y'all, what if she try to showmance him? Y'all, so I'ma still support my sister. I'ma still support my sister, but I just feel like they doing a lot of flirting and I don't like it. I don't like it.
So we're just not gonna talk about it. We're just gonna
I'm gonna ignore that. I have to ignore that all season. I have to. I just would not acknowledge that.
Next. We have
Coonritz.
And Terrence is showing his ass as a player. He's not doing anything. He didn't even know who the vote was until Nicole, his master, walked up to him. And Nicole was like, let me call this girl his master. Anyways, Nicole walked up to him and was like, girl, we voting Pooch. And he was, no, before she said we voting Pooch, Nicole walked up to him and she was talking. And she was like, yeah, so about the vote. And he was like, yeah, fuck that bitch Taylor. And I hate her and woo. Literally damn near what I just said. And Nicole was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not voting for Big Taylor, we're voting for Big Pooch. And he was like, oh, that's right, I hate Pooch. Fuck that bitch.
And literally ever since then, he has not dragged Taylor once. And it's like, that pisses me off. Because like, are you really at your big ass age dragging Taylor, a black woman, because you think that is what the house wants? Like, that is just so weak-minded. Like, it's insane. Like, just similar to Daniel, he's really only part of this plan by proxy of Nicole. I do feel like he's showing a little bit promise strategically, just a little bit, but not enough to go up. It's a 3 for me.
And it's a 2 for me. What I give him last week? He went down for me.
At least he got nominated this time.
I give him a 2.5. Fast is a 1.
Oh my god. Yeah, Turner, like, sadly, Turner is, because he's so, not even sadly, greatly, God, he's up Pooch's ass and has been for a while. So, I was giving him a 1.
I did. You bet not. What you gonna give him?
But basically, he's been up Pooch's ass for so long that he has not been able to really make allegiances with anyone. Brittany and Michael approached him for the Lions week 1 that he has not gotten back to them on, and now all of a sudden thinks he can kind of approach them with to say Pooch. I don't know why he thinks he can do that. He walks into people's rooms. He walks into conversations. He does not bathe. His feet are disgusting. And he doesn't know anything that's going on in the house. It's really just, he just gives a lot of negative energy. He really does. It makes me just, it's just, I don't like him. I really just don't like him personally.
And neither
I'm
does
glad
anybody
he's
else.
doing bad in the game.
He's the main target for everybody next week. For most
it's really bad for him. I think I even want to give him a 1, so I'm gonna give him a 3. Because I don't think the thing is, I don't.
He is the main target for the main alliance.
He's not necessarily the main target anymore. There's been so many updates and movements. He's not the main target. Monty could go. Joseph can go. A lot of people can go. The boys could just win it. He's not down and out, is my thing with Turner. I think he does have potential. He's not someone. Like, he's not the head honcho of the boys. I think what's starting to happen now, Joseph and Monty, they're making themselves huge targets with this whole trying to save Pooch thing. And that's not good for them. I can easily see them being like, what is Terrence doing? He's nothing. He's like, this thing, he's probably going to break down when Pooch leaves. If he doesn't win veto, he's probably just going to sulk. HOH is probably just going to sulk. So I do think there's a path for him, is my point, honestly.
Okay. As we speak, Kyle is speaking to Alyssa. He says, I just want to really like show you.
Oh my god.
He says, it's annoying because Pooch and Turner just follow me around everywhere. He says, we all agreed that if majority of us don't vote with Turner, then he won't be able to pinpoint someone and we can just get him out next.
Oh,
Turner's
okay. It's
out.
It's a 2. It's a 2.
Turner's out. Currently being talked about by Kyle.
Okay, it's a 2.
Okay, 2 is better. I'll give him a 1.
Y'all see how he just bullied me into this?
I'll give him a 1.5. No, because we kind of just evened it out. Because I went up, you know. Okay. Period. We done. Let me put them in order real quick. Oh wait, we're not done. We're supposed to do this first, but oops. What do you rate Paloma as an overall player?
I think overall Paloma would be a 5, honestly. I do think she put in really, really good work in the 3 days. She was an active player because, she kind of, things happen after that. So, but even within those very, very quick days, she set up a structure. She has ramifications that are still affecting the game to this day. I mean, they renamed the whole Alliance to Post Pack. A lot of Monty's hatred towards Taylor has to do with what Paloma did. The reason why these girls are kind of working together is because Paloma put them together. Like, she has a lot of strategic, like I said, ramifications that are still playing out through this game. So I do think you have to give her credit there. And I do think as a player, like, she was eating it up. She really was. I feel like I can't go higher than that because we just didn't see much. And then it's like, if she comes back, like, would that happen again? Like, we never really get to see the potential crash and burn of Paloma. So I do think a 5 is accurate.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a 6. One thing about me, I'm willing to say whatever. So I just feel like, actually, I'm gonna give her a 6.5. I feel like as an overall player, the way Paloma set the game up, the way that the game was set up by Paloma, and it's just continuing based on her setup. It was solely Paloma too. It wasn't Paloma and it was only Paloma. I think all of the work she did was very, very, very impressive. Only comparable to what Evil Dig did in Big Brother. What season was that?
13.
13. He was there for a week. He set up the entire structure of the house and left. And that structure gave what's that bitch name? Rachel. She's not a bit. That girl name. That structure gave Rachel the win, and I think this structure might give Amira the win. It might give even Michael the win. One of the people in the structure that she created is probably going to win the game. And that's kind of based off the structure she created. She gave Michael a game, and we rated Michael the highest this week, and she's the reason he got a game. So I don't know. It's a 6.5 for me. She's still a horrible, horrible, horrible person, and I will always hate her. But she played the game. So let me go ahead and put these girls in order. Boom. Now we have some changes from last week. Just to recall, our top 3 last week was Amira 1, Michael 2, Kyle 3. This week it's Michael is number 1 with an average of a 7. I gave him 7.5. Lee gave him 6.5. Amira number 2 with an average of a 6.5. Tied with Kyle at another average of a 6.5. So that's the top 3. We got Nicole 4th with a 5.5. Alyssa and Taylor tied. Go Taylor. Alyssa and Taylor tied with a 5 at number 5 and 6. We have Daniel at number 7 with a 4.5. Jasmine at number 8 at the same placement as last week.
She's the only person that haven't moved?
She's the only person.
And Kyle.
And Kyle. So Jasmine's 8, Indy's 9 with 3.5. Ooh, these are some low ratings.
Yeah.
Brittany got a 3. Joseph got a 2.75 along with Terrence. Turner got a 1.75. I think this really makes sense. Monty got a 1.5 and Pooch got a 1. Honestly, Monty could go up, but we're not going to change that. There you go.
Yeah. Not from the shit I'm seeing. Hell no.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, Pooch is going home. And if the girls don't know, they're moving Thursday episode to Sunday. So on Sunday, we're going to see the eviction, the HOH, and the nominees in a special 2-hour episode. We plan to do a video for that because basically we're going to miss the whole week and then get the whole week on Sunday. So we'll be here to recap that entire week.
So check us out for the entire week of on Sunday when we're going to miss all the feeds. We're going to miss fucking 5 days of feed. But anyways, check us out for that or whatever. And just stay tuned with us throughout the season. Go ahead and watch the Challenge USA. It comes on tomorrow night. Watch it just so you can watch us. Literally, it's a great show. It has people from BB23 on it, people from Survivor. It got the fucking other people. Watch the shits and watch us. All right, we out. Purr.